Bismillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir wa tammim bil khair. In the previous lesson, we learned about kalima and three different types of kalima. We learned about ismun, which is noun, fi'lun, which is verb, and then harfun, which is a particle. And then we started from the first, part of kalima, that is ismun. And in ismun, we have seen that it has four properties. We discussed two properties in the previous lesson. And as we can see on the screen, we discussed about capacity, which is an-nakira wal marifa. And then also we discussed about the gender, which is al-jinsu, which can be masculine and feminine, al-mudhakkaru wal mu'annathu. As we can see that there are four properties of the noun. We have already discussed two. We haven't completed everything about them, but we know enough about these properties to start book number 1. And today, inshallah, we are going to discuss the third property of the noun, which is al-adadu. Al-adadu is called number, and there are three numbers in Arabic. Al-mufradu, which is singular, al-muthanna, which is dual, and al-jam'u, which is plural. So we had a set of 2 for capacity and gender. We had a set of 2, and now for the next 2 properties, we have a set of 3. What is that? For example, we have al-mufradu, al-muthanna, and then we have al-jam'u. Okay. Al-adadu, so as we discussed that it is al-mufradu and it is default. What does that mean? That the first type of noun, or when we look at the noun for the first time, or the default construction of the noun will be al-mufradu or singular. And of course, when we have a singular noun, then from the singular noun, we can make dual, which is al-muthanna. And now we can see that this is alif maqsura, and this is not ya because it does not have 2 dots. Al-muthanna, so it can be written like this as well. And then we have al-jam'u, which is plural. Al-mufradu is the default, as we know. Al-muthanna, we will learn how to make it. And al-jam'u, as we can see over here, there are 2 types of plural. Al-jam'u as-salimu, sound plural, and al-jam'u al-mukassaru, broken plural. Our focus will be on sound plural. However, we will have a brief introduction about the broken plural as well, so that we have a clear idea about everything when we are going to start our book. Al-mufradu, as we can see over here, Muslimun, and it is translated as a Muslim. And we know that why it is a Muslim, because it's a common noun. And a common noun, when it ends with tanween, it is translated as a. And then after that, the translation of the noun a Muslim. Now, how to make muthanna? First, we just look at the form. It is muslimani, muslimani. So here, basically, we need to focus on the sound. And the sound is ani, ani. And then for the plural, and this is the sound plural, it is muslimuna, and the sound is una. The sound is una. So for the first noun, which is al-mufrad, we will go by the ending, which is tanween. So it can be muslimun, it can be musliman, it can be muslimin. So it goes by tanween. Whereas the dual and the plural goes by the prolonged fatha and prolonged dhamma. What is prolonged fatha? When we have fatha and after that alif, so it becomes longer. And similarly, when we have dhamma and we have waw, after that it becomes longer. So it becomes muslimani, muslimuna, ani, una, muslimun, muslimani, muslimuna. And inshallah, after today's class, we will see that you will be able to make lots of dual forms and lots of plural forms by the end of this lesson, inshallah ta'ala. So we have here singular, muslimun, translation a Muslim. How to make dual? So for the singular, we don't need to do anything because it is default, as we discussed. How to make dual? It's very simple. The dual for masculine is formed by adding fatha over here. So it was Muslimun, but what we do, we drop tanween and we add fatha. So we add fatha over here. And after that, we add alif. As we can see here, over here, there is addition of alif. And then we have noon with kasra, or kasra, I should say, yeah. Noon with kasra, so it becomes ani, as we discussed in the beginning of the lesson. So it becomes ani. So the dual will be muslimani. So there is an addition of fatha, and there is an addition of alif, and there is an addition of noon with kasra. And it's always like this. And we are talking about al-mudhakkar. We are talking about masculine. We are not talking about feminine. Now look at the example. For example, we have qalamun, and the dual is what? Qalamani. Similarly, we have kitabun, and the dual is kitabani. If I give you any noun today, inshallah, I'm sure that you can make dual for that. For example, we have salihun, and the dual will be salihani. Similarly, we have mu'minun, and the dual will be mu'minani. And if we have kafirun, the dual will be kafirani. So this is how we are going to make the dual or al-muthanna. Al-jam'u as-salimu, sound plural. So first we focus on the sound plural, and then inshallah we will have a brief introduction about the broken plural. In the formation of the sound plural, the original form of the noun does not change. So that's very important. The original form of the noun, for example, what's the original form of the noun? Muslimun, okay? So though no change will take place internally, there will be some addition to that. And what will be the addition? There will be addition of waw, and then there will be the addition of noon with fatha and not with kasra. Yep, so it will be muslimuna. Okay, so we will proceed to the feminine inshallah, and then we will discuss about that. So we have muslimun, and the plural is muslimuna. Similarly, we have kafirun, and the plural is kafiruna. And similarly, we have mu'minun, and the plural will be mu'minuna. Salihun, salihuna. And similarly, we have muttaqin, muttaquna. So all of them, when you see the una sound in the Quran, when you listen to the sound, most of the times it's a noun. It can be verb as well. Please be careful. But when it's a noun, it will always start with dhamma, or it will always start with mim most of the times, or it will start with any other letter, as we can see over here, kafirun, kafiruna. The most important thing that we need to notice over here, that it is generally formed from adjectives. So the sound plural, the formula is we add una, that's number one, to the basic form. So muslimun, muslimuna, kafirun, kafiruna, mu'minun, mu'minuna, salihun, salihuna. Whereas we can see that most of the times it is made from adjectives. Please note it down. It's a very important piece of information. It is made from the adjectives. Which which form is made from the adjective? The sound plural. The sound plural, or al-jam'u as-salimu. Okay. Then we have, let's have a look at al-jam'u al-mukassaru, which is broken plural. Now what happens? Why do we call it broken plural? As it is clear from the name that something will happen over there. So in the formation of broken plural, the original form is lost. So what happens? The original form of the default noun is lost, and it is made by making internal changes. So there is no set formula. For example, for the sound noun, we have a formula of una, una, una. But for the broken plural, there is no sound formula. However, Arabic is a very mathematical language, and for everything, we have a way of how to learn it. So how to make it, or where it is made from? It is generally made from the objects, from the things, or from material. From the objects, from the things, or from the material. So the sound plural is made from the adjectives, whereas the broken plural is made from objects, or from things, or from material. How to understand it? Let's have a look at the example in English, and inshallah it will be easy for us to see. It is similar to some of the plural nouns in English, like man. And when we make plural, what happens? The internal change takes place. There is no addition, nothing. We didn't add anything to that. There is no addition of s, like boy and boys and girl and girls. what happened? The internal change has taken place, and from man it has become men. Similarly, from woman it becomes woman. So internal change takes place in jam'u al-mukassaru, in the broken plural. All right, so as I said, there is no specific way to form broken plurals. However, they follow some specific patterns, and it's very important. They have fixed patterns, and these patterns will never change. So once you get used to these patterns, once you memorize these patterns, you can just close your eyes and you can give a plural of the noun, knowing that you are familiar with the pattern. So I have just, we have over here like some of the most common patterns that have been used in the Quran. And inshallah, when we proceed further, we will discuss several patterns, as it has lots of patterns. So the first one is amrun, the singular. So that is the default form, which means command and affair. So it has two meanings. And the plural is umurun, umurun. And the pattern is fu'ulun, as we can see, fu, and then we have mu, and then we have u, then we have wow, and we have wow, and then in the end we have tanween, and here in the end we have tanween. So it will be 100% exactly the same. The only thing that will change is the letters. Of course, the letters will change. The spelling, like in English, the spelling change. Similarly, the letters will change. So this is one of the patterns, amrun and umurun. Then we have malun, property, and the plural is amwalun, like tiflun, atfalun, and there are many nouns that come on this pattern. Malun, amwalun. So here the pattern is different. So the pattern is called af'alun. You need to, as I said, we need to memorize these patterns as they are very important. So fa'ulun, af'alun, and then we have rajulun, man, and the plural is rijalun. Like in the Quran, we have jibalun, right? So we have the same pattern. It will never change. It will remain as it is. So on the pattern of fi'alun, we have rijalun, rajulun, rijalun. Then we have ainun, eye, and the plural is a'yunun, a'yunun. On the pattern of af'ulun, af'ulun. So this pattern is also used a lot in the Quran. Okay, now you need to figure out something over here, that here in the end we have tanween, but starting from number 5, 6, and 7, they do not have tanween. As of now, the only thing you need to do is to focus on these patterns. Why there is tanween and why there is no tanween, we have inshallah enough time to discuss about this, and we will be discussing about this inshallah for the rest of our journey of learning Arabic language. So the first thing that we need to know is just to, like, what is the pattern where we cannot put tanween? So for the first pattern we cannot put tanween is mafa'ilu. This pattern, any word that comes on this pattern will not take tanween. So masjidun, the plural is masajidu. It will be wrong to say masajidun. No, it does not accept tanween. So it will be masajidu. And inshallah, in the next lesson that we have, like about Arab, I will give you a few like points, or we will discuss about some of the points, main points, where we will come to know inshallah in the next lesson that like what are the categories of the noun that do not accept tanween. And this is, and 3 of them are already over here. So this pattern does not accept tanween, masajidu. Similarly, faqirun, and the plural is fuqara'u, and it is on the pattern of fu'ala'u. This pattern also does not accept tanween. And then, and the last pattern that we have over here, sharikun, and the plural is shuraka'u, and it is on the pattern of af'ila'u. So as we see over here, that these are different patterns. As of now, you don't really need to worry about it. The only thing is exposure. We are being exposed to these patterns, nothing else. If you can memorize them, that would be perfect. But if you are not able to memorize as of now, even if you focus on them, that will be inshallah more than enough. And as we said, or as we discussed, that the broken plurals are made from the material, or they are made from the things. So for example, ma'alun is material, rajulun, insan is also material, ainun is material, masjid is made of material. So most of the nouns are made from the nouns that are broken plural, they are made from the materials. So we are done with the singular and the dual and the plural for mudhakkar. We are done with the for the masculine, and now we move on to the, in the next part of the lesson, we move on to the feminine. And the reason why I have separated them, so that we are able to understand and we are able to focus and we are able to master all these things, inshallah, one by one. Now we move on to the feminine. And if you remember, in the previous lesson, we discussed that most of the nouns that end on the rounded ta or ta al marbuta, they are feminine. And we have a very good example of this. So we have muslimatun. It is the feminine of muslimun, and since it's the counterpart of masculine, and we discussed in the previous lesson that there are two reasons that a noun can be feminine. Either it could be the feminine counterpart or it can have ta marbuta. So here it is both. It is the feminine counterpart of muslimun, and also it has a ta marbuta, as we can see over here. So muslimatun, and it is similar to what we discussed about the masculine, but again, since we have ta marbuta over here, so I will give you a very inshallah easy hint, that is like it will make your life easier, that this ta will be carried out in the dual, and it will also be carried out in the plural. So very simple and very easy to memorize. What happens? This ta marbuta will be carried out in the dual, and it will be carried out in the plural as well. So here we have muslimatun. The dual is muslimatani, similar to the dual for the masculine, ani. So we have the ani sound here, and we had the ani sound over there. However, the plural is different from the masculine. In the masculine, we had the una sound, but here we have the aton sound. What's the sound? Aton. So for the masculine, the sound was una, and the feminine, the sound is aton. So we have muslimatun, muslimatani, muslimatun. Let's look how they are formed. How do we form them? Singular is muslimatun, and as we discussed, that it is the default, so we can't make any changes to this. There is no need to change it. However, when we make dual, it is similar to what we did for the dual for the masculine. What do we do for the feminine? The nouns that end in ta marbuta, the first change that we will make, this ta marbuta will change into regular ta, so it becomes the regular ta, which is called ta maftuha. That's number one. Number two, the same thing happens over here. We have to add fatha, and then after that we have to add alif and noon with kasra, so it becomes tani. So we have jannatun, jannatani. Kalimatun, we have kalimatani. Mu'minatun, mu'minatani. Salihatun, salihatani. Sa'imatun, sa'imatani. So now, inshallah, based on this formula, I'm very sure that you can form lots of nouns, and you can make dual for the masculine, and you can also make dual for the feminine. Is this clear so far? Do you have any questions? It seems to be, inshallah, very clear. There is nothing ambiguous or difficult about it. So we are done with the singular, and we are done with the dual. And of course, now we have to move on to the plural. Okay. The feminine plural does not have broken plural. Yeah, it is always like this. It will be always called as sound plural. It does not have broken plural. It only has sound plural. And how do we construct it? How do we make it? For feminine plural, it is made by adding fatha and then atun to that. So it becomes atun, as we can see here. Muslimatun becomes muslimatun. Muslimatun becomes muslimatun. Jannatun becomes jannatun. Mu'minatun will become mu'minatun. Salihatun will become salihatun. So all of the nouns for the feminine plural, they will be on the pattern of atun. What is the pattern? Atun for the plural. And it is always on the pattern of sound plural. So we have muslimatun, muslimatani, muslimatun. Muslimatun, muslimatani, muslimatun. And here is a summary for you to memorize it. Now you have got a very clear idea about how to make dual and how to make plural. So based on this formula, as I said, now inshallah, any noun that you come across, try to make dual, and if possible, also try to make the plural as well. What is dual of real? Realani. Ani, it has to be ani. Yeah, that's when we will discuss about that inshallah later. We will go step by step. We have to continue from absolute beginning. So whatever we hear, whatever we come across, we cannot grasp everything in the first lesson. So as I said, please go on like step by step. So first of all, we focus only on ani una, tani atun, ani una, tani atun. And then this sound will change with the passage of time. And then you will hear the sound of aini and ina, but that sound will change later. We are not going to change it now. So we have Muslimun, Muslimani, Muslimuna. And for the feminine, we have Muslimatun, Muslimatani, and Muslimatun. So the dual sound similar, they sound similar, but the plural is completely different. Here the plural has the una sound, and here plural has atun sound. And if you are able to learn these two patterns, inshallah, your journey of learning Arabic will be, inshallah, so easy. As long as you keep on learning for the rest of your lives, you have to go through these patterns and you have to memorize these patterns. It's like one time, it is like one time investment. You sit and memorize only once, and for the rest of your life, inshallah, you will be comfortable and you will not face any problem. Clear the dual and the plural. Okay, dual has ani, as we can see here, Muslimun and Muslimani. So dual has the ani sound and the plural has the una sound. Muslimun, Muslimani, Muslimuna, ani, una. Similarly, we have mu'minun, mu'minani, mu'minuna. Kafirun, kafirani, kafiruna. Salihun, salihani, salihuna. Ani, una. Just two sounds. Whereas for the feminine, as I gave you a very easy formula, that feminine always ends with ta marbuta, and this ta marbuta will be carried out in the dual, and also it will be carried out in the plural as well. And as we discussed, that when we go to the dual, or when we change it into the dual and the plural, then this ta marbuta changes into regular ta, and it becomes the ta as the normal ta, as we can see over here. So it becomes muslimatun, muslimatani, muslimatun. Kafiratun, kafiratani, kafiratun. Mu'minatun, mu'minatani, mu'minatun. More than two is plural. It's a very good question. Dual means only two. Excellent question. Dual means only two. Anything more than two is plural. If it is 3 or 300,000 or 3 million, it will be plural. And it goes the same. It goes to the masculine and to the feminine. It's the same. So if we have dual, only two will be dual, and more than two will be plural. Excellent, Ahsant. Very good question. Okay. Now, can you please type the dual and the plural of abidun? Okay, as of now, I would say there is no need to worry about the meaning. If you know the meaning, that's fine. But if you don't know the meaning, we will get used to that. And inshallah, we will keep on learning. For example, abidun is someone who worships. Okay. Abidun, what will be the dual of abidun? Abidani. Excellent. And what about the plural of abidun? Okay, abidani. Abiduna. Excellent. Ahsan. Abidun, abidani, abiduna. Okay. Now we have sadiqun, truthful, sadiqun, and what will be the dual? Sadiqani, excellent. Sadiqani, sadiqani, okay. And what will be the plural? It will be sadiquna. Ahsantum, ahsantum. It will be sadiquna. Okay, now we move on to the feminine now. So feminine, you need to be a little bit careful. We have sa'imatun, the one who fasts. So we have sa'imatun, and the dual will be sa'imatani. Excellent. Sa'imatani. And the plural, you need to be careful. The plural. the plural I need for sa'imatun, it will be sa'imatun. Sa'imatun. Excellent. And then we have a mu'mina. Mu'minatun is a believer. So mu'minatun, and the dual will be, the dual of mu'minatun will be mu'minatani. Excellent. We have mu'minatani, and then the plural will be similar to what we have seen over here. It will be mu'minatun. Excellent. Mu'minatun, mu'minatun. So abidun, abidani, abiduna. So we have ani'una, and here sadiqun, sadiqani, sadiquna. We have ani'una. And when we have the feminine, then we have to have the ta sound, so it becomes sa'imatun, sa'imatani, sa'imatun, and mu'minatun, mu'minatani, and mu'minatun. Excellent. Now, subhanallah, it's our third class, and imagine, inshallah, for the third class, we have reached a stage where we are going to analyze the hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and inshallah, I'm very sure that you will be able to understand the hadith by yourselves. And Abi Hurayrata radiyallahu anhu qal, so it was basically qala, but when we stop it becomes qal. Qala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam kalimatani khafifatani. So kalimatun is one, and two will be kalimatani. Khafifun, and the feminine of khafifun is khafifatun. And what is the dual of khafifatun? Khafifatani. Kalimatani khafifatani ala lisani. So lisani is not dual. Okay, don't just always focus on the sound, because lisan is the original construction of the word. So there are two kalimas, or there are two statements that are light for the tongue to remember. So kalimatani khafifatani ala lisani, thaqilatani, thaqilun, and the feminine of thaqilun is thaqilatun, and the dual of thaqilatun will be thaqilatani. Fil mizani, but they are heavy in the scales. Habibun, what is the feminine of habibun? Habibatun. And what will be the dual of habibatun? Habibatani. So habibatani ila rahmani, and they are beloved to Rahman, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what are those two kalimat? Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, Subhanallahil azim. And it is muttafaqun alayh. That means both of the shuyukh or shaykhan, Bukhari rahimahullah and Muslim rahimahullah, they agreed upon this. So that's why it is called muttafaqun alayh. So it is agreed upon, the hadith over here. So we have to make the habit, or develop the habit of reciting this adhkar all the time. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, Subhanallah al-azim, as they have lots of benefit, and they're glorified, as we can see over here, and they are very easy to say. Khafifatani ala lisani, but they are very heavy on the scale. And inshallah, that is what our target is, that فَأَمَّا مَنْ ثَقُلَتْ مَوَازِينُهُ فَهُوَ فِي عِيشَةٍ رَاضِيَةٍ. So whoever has a heavy scale, he will have a beautiful life, and that's what we are aiming for. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless with that, inshallah, heavy scale, and show us the right path, and bless us with Jannah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And now, inshallah, I will take the questions, and if there are any questions, we can discuss them now.